Have you ever felt like life keeps throwing punches and no matter how strong you try to be, it feels like everything gets to you? Someone criticizes you and it lingers in your mind for days. You lose money and it feels like your world is collapsing. People ignore you and you question your worth. The truth is, most of us are like leaves in the wind, easily blown in every direction by emotions, circumstances, and the opinions of others. But the Stoics lived differently. They walked through fire without burning, through storms without drowning, because they trained their minds to remain untouched. And today, I'll share with you Stoic principles that can make you unshakable. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to learn how to live stronger, calmer, and wiser. Let's begin. Number 1, control what you can, ignore what you can't. The first principle is simple, yet life-changing. Control what you can, ignore what you can't. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us, and some are not." Most of our suffering comes from obsessing over what we can never control, like the weather, the past, or even other people's behavior. Think about it. If it rains today, you can complain all you want, but the clouds won't move. If someone doesn't like you, you can twist yourself into knots, but you can't crawl into their brain and change their thoughts. The Stoic approach is to recognize the difference and invest energy only in what's within your hands. When you focus on your effort, your choices, and your responses, life becomes lighter. You stop trying to carry the entire universe on your shoulders. You realize your power is limited but mighty when applied correctly. So next time something outside your control bothers you, pause and laugh. Yes, laugh, because it's absurd to wrestle with things that were never yours to command in the first place. That's Stoic freedom. Number 2, train your mind before life tests it. Another principle, don't wait until disaster strikes to build strength. Train your mind now, before life throws its storms. Seneca said, "The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive." We prepare for exams, for job interviews, even for gym workouts. But how many of us prepare for insults, for loss, for heartbreak? The Stoics practiced imagining the worst, not because they were pessimists, but because they wanted to be ready. They called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Picture this, your phone breaks. Instead of panicking, you remember, I already expected that someday this would happen. Or someone betrays you. You already understood that humans are capable of weakness. By rehearsing these possibilities in your mind, when reality arrives, it can't surprise you. It's like building an emotional immune system. If you only start lifting weights after the fight begins, you'll lose. But if you train daily, mentally and emotionally, life's punches won't knock you out. You'll simply nod and say, I saw this coming. Number 3, redefine what hurts you. Here's a Stoic secret. Pain is not what happens to you, it's how you define it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Imagine 2 people stuck in traffic. One is fuming, cursing every car, banging the steering wheel. The other is calm, maybe even listening to music or reflecting in silence. Same event, different response. The event didn't change, the meaning they gave it did. We often believe circumstances dictate our emotions. But the Stoics teach us that our judgment is the true master. If you label rejection as proof of your failure, it will crush you. If you see it as redirection, it strengthens you. If you call pain an enemy, it will torment you. If you call pain a teacher, it transforms you. The next time you feel hurt, stop and ask, am I suffering because of what happened, or because of the story I'm telling myself about what happened? Change the story, and suddenly, nothing can touch you. And if that fails, well, at least blame traffic. Everyone does. Number 4, practice detachment from outcomes. One of the hardest Stoic lessons, detach from outcomes. Do your best, but don't cling to results. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do." and you will go on well. We suffer because we believe effort guarantees reward. We study hard, so we must get the job. We love deeply, so we must be loved back. But life doesn't sign contracts with us. Sometimes you give everything and still fall short. The Stoic approach? Accept it with calm. When you detach, you find peace. You understand that success lies in the process, not the prize. That your worth isn't tied to applause, promotions, or likes on a screen. That true victory is living with integrity, regardless of results. Think of an archer. He can control how he aims, how steady his hands are, how sharp his arrow is. But once he lets go, the wind and distance take over. If he obsesses about the target, he suffers. But if he focuses on a shot, he wins, no matter where the arrow lands. That's Stoic mastery. Number 5, live by virtue, not by emotion. The principle that ties it all together, live by virtue, not by emotion. The Stoics believe that true happiness comes not from pleasure, money, or praise, but from living a life of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Why? Because emotions are temporary. They rise and fall like waves. If you live based on them, your life will always be unstable. But virtue is steady. It anchors you in storms. Even when the world collapses, you can stand tall if you know you lived with honor. Picture this. Someone insults you. Your emotions scream, hit back. But virtue whispers, stay calm. Someone tempts you to cheat for gain. Your emotions say, why not? Virtue says, because you're better than that. Virtue is not about being perfect. It's about being grounded in what truly matters. And here's the funny part. When you live by virtue, even failure feels like victory. Because you stay true to yourself, and that's something no one, not fate, not critics, not even your own emotions, can take away. Number 6, expect people to be human. Marcus Aurelius once said, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today I shall meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsocial. He wasn't being cynical. He was being prepared. The Stoics believed one of the best ways to avoid being shaken is to expect people to act like people. Why we get hurt so often? Because we're shocked when people lie, betray, gossip, or disappoint us. But the truth is, these behaviors are part of human nature. Getting angry because someone acted selfishly is like being mad at fire for being hot. This doesn't mean you accept abuse or mistreatment. It means you stop giving away your peace every time someone fails to meet your expectations. By lowering your expectations of others, you free yourself from constant frustration. So when someone cuts you off in traffic or forgets to say thank you, don't lose your calm. Smile instead and say, ah, yes. Another human being human. That way, their behavior doesn't control your state of mind. You do. Number 7, remember that you will die. It sounds dark, but the Stoics saw death not as a threat, but as a reminder. They practiced memento mori, remember that you will die. This principle wasn't meant to depress you, but to set you free from fear and distraction. Think about how much of our time is wasted worrying about what doesn't matter. We obsess over gossip, hold grudges, and chase things that won't matter in a year, let alone on our deathbed. By remembering life is short, you gain clarity on what really matters. When death is kept in mind, insults feel smaller. Failures lose their sting. You realize that most of the things that disturb you aren't actually important. What matters is how you live now. Your courage, your kindness, your integrity. And if you ever find yourself overthinking whether someone liked your Instagram story, just pause and ask yourself, will this matter when I'm 6 feet under? Suddenly, you'll laugh and move on. Number 8, find strength in voluntary discomfort. Another powerful Stoic principle, practice discomfort on purpose. Seneca wrote about sleeping on the floor, wearing rough clothes, and eating simple food, reminding himself that he could endure hardship. Why? Because if you train with little, you fear nothing. Most people are terrified of losing comfort. They panic at the thought of losing money, position, or luxury. But the Stoics knew that comfort makes us soft, while voluntary discomfort makes us strong. By choosing discomfort, you prove to yourself that even if life strips things away, you can still stand tall. Try it in small ways. Take cold showers, skip a meal, walk instead of driving. You're not punishing yourself. You're strengthening your spirit. You're telling yourself, I can live with less and still be fine. That's real security. And honestly, when you've survived a freezing cold shower in the morning, what else can the day really do to you? It already tried its worst. Number 9, separate facts from opinions. Epictetus taught, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. One of the greatest skills in Stoicism is separating what happened from what you think about what happened. Say your boss criticizes your work. That's the fact. But your opinion might be, I'm terrible at my job, or he hates me. Those extra layers of thought are what bring pain, not the event itself. When you separate fact from opinion, you strip away unnecessary suffering. This mental habit is like cleaning a dirty window. Once you wipe off the fog of assumptions, the truth becomes clear. You see events as they are, not as your emotions dramatize them. And clarity always brings calm. So next time your mind spirals, pause and ask, what are the facts here? And what part is just my opinion dressed up as truth? You'll often find the monster was never as big as you imagined. Number 10, focus on being, not having. The Stoics remind us that happiness doesn't come from what you have, but from who you are. We live in a world obsessed with possessions, money, gadgets, likes, followers. But these are unstable. They can be taken away in a moment. Virtue, however, can't be stolen. Imagine two people. One has millions but is greedy, anxious, and cruel. The other has little but is wise, courageous, and kind. Who is truly rich? The Stoics would say it's the second, because true wealth is character, not currency. When you base your identity on possessions, you're always at risk. Lose the car, the house, the job, and you lose yourself. But if your foundation is inner strength, no loss can break you. Your worth is unshakable. So instead of asking, what do I own? Ask, who am I becoming? Because no thief, no crisis, and not even death itself can take away the person you've chosen to be. And if someone still insists money buys happiness, well, tell them to lend you $1 million and let's test that theory. So now you have 10 Stoic principles to make you untouchable. Control what you can, train before life tests you, redefine what hurts you, detach from outcomes, live by virtue, expect people to be human, remember death, practice discomfort, separate fact from opinion, and focus on being, not having. If you let these truths sink deep, nothing can shake you. People may talk, storms may rage, comfort may vanish, but you'll remain steady. That's the power of Stoicism. It doesn't change the world outside, but it transforms the world inside. If this helped you, give this video a like, subscribe for more timeless wisdom, and share it with someone who needs strength today. Remember, the world doesn't break the strong, it only reveals them.